weirdos! You are watching Keep It Weird.
Welcome!
We are the podcast for all things strange and unusual and paranormal and supernatural and creepy and sticky and gross and scary and everything in between!
We're so good at it! We didn't even practice that, I swear.
We didn't even practice that.
It just came out. I've always wondered if we knew it, like, at the same time. That was really special.
You just can't be thinking about it. That's the trick.
I know. It's just going to come out.
If you don't think about it, it'll just happen naturally.
Guys, that was a big deal.
Guys, big announcement. It's October!
It's the best month of the year. I said it is the best month of the year. Oh, oh. It's a big deal.
It's a really big deal around here. It's Halloween as of 2 days. Today's the 3rd, October 3rd. Yes. So it's been Halloween for 3 days now in Keep It World land.
I'm so happy.
We're so happy. I've never been happy about anything in my entire life. It's our favorite month.
It's really great. Both of our apartments are decorated super spooky. Mm-hmm. Ashley has been drawing lots of spooky things. I'm still too scared to because I don't know how to draw. But we've been watching scary movies. I'm trying to think of other things.
She is going to draw something.
I will. It'll just be
someday.
Really bad, so don't judge me too harshly.
Doesn't
I'm
matter.
not an artist.
Halloween.
Halloween. Yeah, it's been really fun so far.
I just love it. I just love it so much.
Like even this little pumpkin
I
just makes me so happy.
I don't even know if you can tell that it's lit up.
Oh yeah, our lighting.
Oh, you can.
Always throws the there it is. Glowing.
Anyways, welcome to our news segment.
This Week in Weird!
I'm trying new things.
Oh my. That was the most interesting thing you've ever tried.
I'm trying new things.
I liked it. Kind of. It also scared me.
It was awful. Even when it was coming out of my mouth, ooh, a feather.
Reminded me of a church lady.
Anyways, welcome to our news segment, This Week in Weird, where we bring you the weirdest news that we can find on the internet any given week. So, the first one that I have is, guys, my bangs, look at I can't see anything. If Kate doesn't come back in town soon...
Yeah, I'm going to need your hairstylist to come.
I can't handle it.
It's not even because I think you look bad. I just want you to see. I want you to see the world. I want
see
you to
the world
see
the
what's
way
going
that
on.
You're supposed to. I almost want to hurt it. Anyways, okay.
A little gap.
My first story today, I've entitled UFO Haul.
Mm-hmm. This has been our whole day. Is not being able to speak.
It's 9 p.m. Is it 9? No, it's 8. It's 8 p.m.
Ugh.
I'm so fucking tired. Okay, UFO Highway. I'll think of a better name later. A brother and sister alien hunting team, Chuck Zukowski and Debbie Ziegelmeyer,
I'm in it,
have discovered a UFO highway across America along which hundreds of unexplained events have taken place, from UFO sightings to cattle mutilations and even alien abductions. The duo has spent years traveling across the U.S. investigating hundreds of UFO sightings and other paranormal occurrences. It was actually when Chuck was investigating a particular cattle mutilation in 2006 that he realized that many of the unexplained events took place on the 37 latitude.
Oh.
When he brought this to his sister's attention, she noticed the same thing with her investigations in Missouri, and they started researching this idea, discovering that there are clusters of unexplained events taking place across the same latitude line.
Okay, that's crazy.
It's pretty nuts. So they believe that the 37th latitude is kind of like a UFO or paranormal highway along which extraterrestrial craft enter and exit the Earth.
Oh my gosh. It's like their way to get in and out?
Mm-hmm. Or if you think of it as a dimensional thing, as a multi-dimensional thing, that could be where the dimension, is the thinnest.
Okay,
you know what
that's
I mean?
how they cross
where it's they can cross in and out of.
I see what you're saying.
Area 51 in Nevada and the Dulce base, which is apparently an alleged underground alien base, are also located on this line. There have also been a ton of Bigfoot sightings on this line. And if you think about, I don't know if you remember way back when, during, what was the episode where we talked about cryptids? What was it called?
It was something about George.
Yeah. Oh, Creature from the George
Lagoon.
Lagoon.
Creature from the George Lagoon.
So
yes.
in Creature from the George Lagoon, we talk about Bigfoot and this idea that it's not actually like a creature that lives on Earth like an animal, but it's more like an interdimensional being. Mm-hmm. So that would kind of be a cool thing to support this idea.
Yeah, I like that theory.
So a lot of research is still currently being done on this theory. A book was written last year called The 37th Parallel, and apparently a summer blockbuster is being made as well. So It will be exciting to see more people get in on this research.
Absolutely.
About the 37th Parallel. I think it sounds
I like it a lot. Yeah. Like, it's such a fun thing to build more stories off of and to find like more people's research. It's like an episode of X-Files. It's such a cool thing to be like, wait, I also notice things happening on this latitude. I experienced this too. This is weird. I like it. It'll be a fun movie.
Yeah.
My first story is called Underwater Octopus City, dubbed Atlantis, which I thought was fun. I normally hate underwater stuff. This I thought was kind of fun and cute. Located in Jervis Bay off the south coast of New South Wales, Australia, this incredible city is made up of specially crafted dens made from sand and shells built and occupied by approximately 15 of the cephalopods. This unusual discovery suggests that the species is more social than we previously thought. An international team of researchers set up an underwater camera to observe the group and the city, which captured on film the creatures meeting up, communicating, and driving away intruders together. They were like fighting off the bad guys as a team. And there were occasions of some of the inhabitants being evicted by the others, like being sent away by someone. Like their landlord sent them out, but it's an octopus. They recorded 10 hours of video footage of the site, which lies about 33 feet below the water and measures about 59 feet wide, which is insane. These behaviors are the product of natural selection and may be remarkably similar to vertebrate complex social behavior, said a lead researcher. This suggests that when the right conditions occur, evolution may produce very similar outcomes in diverse groups of organisms. So this was just a cool finding for scientists to be like, other organisms and other species are social and we didn't even know it. But this is leading to the discovery of, hey, now we should start looking at other things. And it was just a fun little community.
Oh my god.
Atlantis.
Atlantis.
So I just thought that was fun. I normally hate the sea, but I was like, hey, that's cool.
Octopi are extraordinarily intelligent.
Mm-hmm. We knew they were smart, but to be like such a community.
Yeah, it would make sense that of all animals to develop that sort of like, you know, community, or like if they developed like a way to like trade for goods,
some bargaining.
That would make sense because they're smarty pies.
They're so smart. Like they built caves and dens and have a whole little city. It's like they're Atlantis. Atlantis. Thought it was fun.
It's so wonderful. I want to go to Atlantis. No, I don't.
I don't.
Octopi are so scary.
If I was actually there, I'd be upset and I'd cry. But it sounds great in theory. Okay, go ahead.
This story is titled, Doomsday is Coming Again. Doomsday conspiracy theorist David Mead, who prophesied that Doomsday would take place on September 23rd, has now rescheduled it for this October, and is claiming that 1 billion people will be wiped off the planet when the rapture hits. Mm-hmm. He's Catholic and self-proclaimed researcher, and now says that the actual apocalypse is October 15th, which would start a 7-year period of tribulation, followed by a millennium of peace. David says that the 7 years will include nuclear warfare, a mystery planet, Nibiru, or whatever the fuck,
we talked about it,
crossing or possibly colliding with Earth, and then 1 billion people being removed from Earth. I assume he means in the rapture. So anyways, get ready.
Can't believe it got
prepared. The rapture's coming.
Oh, man.
Again. The world's ending. This actually reminds me of, do you remember the Parks and Rec episode?
Where the guy, every year, he keeps changing the date, and if the park isn't open, he'll be like, actually, it's the next day.
Yeah, he'll be like, oh, I was wrong about the apocalypse. We'll do next year, September 3rd. And she's like, oh, it's
booked for an ice cream social.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I mean September 4th.
And then he's like, also sign me up for one of those cones. And she's like, I already got it. He just knows. I love that.
We've seen that show a lot.
Way too much.
I know.
We basically just acted out that.
No, but seriously, like, that's what this is like. It's like, did I say September? I meant October. And then when that doesn't happen, he's going to be like, I meant, the Mayans were right. Mm-hmm. December.
Gonna keep going. Ridiculous.
We're fine. It's fine. Or it's not. And
who cares? Or
he's
he's right, and we're all gonna die, but we can't do a damn thing about it. So just accept it. Here we are.
Enjoy
we're all
the
gonna
ride.
go up in flames. Which, speaking of end of the world, and as some would say, like when Jesus comes to save those he wants, I'm trying to make a segue here because Jesus is involved in this.
Oh.
Blood traces were found on the Shroud of Turin. I feel terrible if that's not how you pronounce it. Sorry to all Christian and historian people. But the Shroud of Turin, which is a very famous Christian relic, people have always believed that it was what was wrapped around Jesus. Okay. And now recently blood has been found on it. So it's actually like kind of exciting for the Christian community. The mysterious cloth is believed by many faithful around the world to be the burial cloth of Jesus. And Christians revere him as the living Son of God, if you didn't know.
If you didn't know who Jesus was.
And this theory has long been under scrutiny and debate, and people just say, it's a cloth from another time, it's cool, it's historical, I doubt it was for Jesus. But a recent forensic examination of the cloth by researchers in Italy has yielded some interesting results. The researchers are claiming that they have discovered human blood remains within the cloth's fibers, and further along, scientific analysis of the particles has revealed that the individual in question was likely subjected to prolonged torture before they died. The presence of the biological nanoparticles found during the experiments point to a very violent death for whoever was wrapped up in the Turin shroud, said the university professor of Giulio Fanti. Giulio Fanti, the cool Italian name. Bon appetit.
A rigatoni.
Tortellini. Naturally, this new information has reignited this hot debate over the true origins of the shroud and its authenticity. Many believe that the relic is nothing more than a medieval forgery, which others believe that it is genuine and dates back to 2,000 years. Back in 1988, this 14-foot long shroud underwent a variety of tests, which included radiocarbon testing, seemingly only dating the cloth to approximately 1260 to 1390 AD. Whether the blood on the cloth belongs to Jesus or not, the possibility of contamination is high, as it has been transported all over the damn world over centuries. So we probably will never know, really.
We'll never know.
Because everybody's freaking touched it.
We'll never know. It's not like we have a sample of Jesus' DNA to be like, is it his? Let's test it.
That's the thing. It's just getting everybody riled up again.
Getting everyone riled up. Just keep it to yourself.
I know.
So, scientists. I guess scientists wouldn't do it. Historians. Pope. I don't know.
People in the Vatican? I don't know. I was going to try and carry it on.
It's fine.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this one's actually really fascinating. An article was published on Medical News Today about children's behavior and a new way that they are studying it that could show early warning signs of being at risk for becoming a psychopath.
What? Hello? Good morning?
So, just to ensure that all of our listeners with children don't ever sleep again, a recent study that was published in Current Biology examines how at-risk psycho children, I came up with that one, respond to laughter. Laughter is contagious for most people, but this new research may show that for psycho kids, this may not be the case.
So they won't laugh.
It doesn't, laughter is sort of like, I mean, it is. It's absolutely contagious,
100%.
Especially for kids.
I will laugh if someone else is laughing, hands down.
Yeah, almost all the time, unless I hate that person.
True. Or if whatever was said before that was, like, so dumb.
Yeah. But especially with children, laughter is contagious. They see someone laughing, they immediately laugh. They don't even know what they're laughing at. It's like But if you are at risk of being a psychopath, you don't have that, they're finding. So, yeah. So, being a psychopath, that's an adult personality disorder. Children aren't ever labeled psychopath. However, experts do know now, after much longitudinal research, which that means observational research where data is gathered from the same subjects over a period of time, usually years, sometimes even decades. So experts know that there are certain children who are at a higher risk for developing into a psychopath. Such children seem to exhibit two main personality traits. They are likely to be disruptive and show callous, unemotional traits, which we basically could have learned by watching The Omen or any other movie with an evil child. True. But specifically, the researchers screened for these traits and hypothesized that the children displaying them would also be somewhat immune to the social contagion that accompanies laughter.
Okay.
So basically, what they found, they hooked these kids up. They had 30 kids. They had 30 at-risk kids. So these were the kids that were disruptive, and what was the other one? Disruptive and callous and unemotional. Okay. So they don't react the same way that you should react to emotional things. So they took those 30 at-risk kids, boys, all boys between the ages, I think, of 12 and 15. And then they took 30 kids who were not at risk, who didn't have those traits, and they matched them up to be same age. They matched them up to the point where it was like, this one's left-handed and this one's left-handed, and this one has green eyes and this one has green eyes.
Everything else they had
Everything else they had in common. They were a variety of like cultures, societies, like different like classes. So it was a good project. I'll just say that.
No.
So what they did is that they hooked these kids up to an MRI, and they did things like they would nothing crazy. They would do things like they would play sounds. They would play sounds of genuine laughter. They would play sounds of obvious faked forced laughter, and they would play sounds of people crying. And not only would they interview them afterwards and say, like, how did this sound make you feel? What went through your head when you heard this sound, and like wrote down their answers. They also measured the brain activity that was happening during. Okay. And there is a huge difference in the kids, in some of the kids that were labeled potential risk for psychopath, and the others. They didn't have brain activity at times where they should have had brain activity.
Oh no.
So basically, the only way to prove this, though, is to continue researching them and continue studying them as they grow, as they age, to see if when they're older. And psychopath, here's the thing. Psychopath doesn't mean I go out and kill people and I, like, skin them and I wear their head as a pants. Whatever. Like, that's not psychopath. The psychopath is someone who, has a detachment from that.
Yeah. From reality and connection, normal human connection.
Normal human behavior.
Yes.
Like psychopaths, for example, can't read a social cue.
Right.
Like, they can't read that a smile is like a welcoming gesture, and
if someone's crying,
or
that
someone's
they're
crying,
sad and
they're sad, or if like someone like turns away, that means like don't talk to me anymore. They can't
body
read
language. Yeah. Which is similar to sociopaths, too, except psychopaths are just very detached, and sociopaths don't have empathy, so they struggle with social cues as well, usually.
It would be interesting to see them do the same study with sociopaths.
I was thinking that while you were talking. Because there is a difference. I feel like I'm not describing it well. There is definitely a difference, and sociopaths do not always end up being serial killers either, but some serial killers are sociopaths. So it's just like...
And all my ex-boyfriends are.
Oh, good. Samesies. Hi, guys.
Just kidding.
It's time for Lauren's Derp Corner! The dancing has gotten more intense.
Yeah, it's getting... I wasn't even prepared for that. I almost forgot about Lauren's Derp.
I'm a little dizzy from shaking. You almost forgot? How dare you?
I'm very tired.
Today is one of the derpiest stories I've ever had, and I know that's hard to believe because I've had some crazy ones, but... Excuse you, Penny.
Excuse you.
We'll wait till you're done.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Hi. Has anyone heard of, or do you remember, the show Thomas the Tank Engine?
Yeah.
With, like, the trains.
With the train.
They were, like, cartoon trains, and there would be, like...
And Thomas's face was on the
Yeah,
side.
and they could, like, change... I guess they weren't cartoons. They might have been, like, clays.
Were they They were claymation?
Something like that. I loved it when I was little. But this headline is, Terrifying Thomas the Tank Engine Death Scene Puts a Dark Spin on the Popular Kids Show. So, this is an old show. It goes way back. But most recently, this was a couple days ago, actually it was yesterday, a Twitter user found a really old vintage episode of Thomas the Tank Engine posted about, so that's why this is a modern story, because he just found this and people are freaking out. Taken from episode 3 of Thomas and Friends, it's a tale of punishment, with one naughty train called Henry getting his comeuppance for not wanting to work, in case it ruined his nice green and red paintwork. He had a good reason. He didn't want to ruin his paint.
It's the same reason that I don't want to work. I don't want to ruin these nails.
Exactly. At most, Henry was really only guilty of being a little vain. Like, he didn't do anything that crazy. But should it be punishable by death? Let's see.
Should it?
As Tristan, the Twitter user, perfectly described it, there's a Thomas the Tank episode where...
Tristan, the Twitter user.
I know, we're doing all these T's. Thomas the Tank Engine, Tristan the Twitter user.
Tristan, the Twitter user. Go
on. As he described it, he said, there's a Thomas the Tank episode where a stubborn train is punished by being entombed alive forever, and watching it was worse than any horror movie I've ever seen.
What?
He said, the big fat controller guy has, like, the big head and the top hat and, like, evil eyes. He always seemed like a horror movie to me. Like, too much for a kid's show.
Something wasn't right there.
He orders his death after Henry refuses to budge, even after being pulled out with a rope. Henry's just like, don't scratch my paint. So he won't come out. Wow. Controller gets angry and sentences him to be stuck in there forever by saying, we shall take away your rails and leave you here for always and always and always. And then he bosses the others around him to build a wall. Interesting. Who else says to build a wall? Connections? I don't know. A forlorn-looking Henry is then forced to watch the other trains whizzing past him and mocking him while his fire goes out and he rusts away in the tomb.
His fire goes out?
But it's perhaps the narrator who was Ringo Starr for this episode. I don't know if he always did it or if this was, like, special. He hammers the final nail in the coffin saying, I think he deserved his punishment. Don't you? Ringo! So, sorry, children. It's awful.
What?
I don't know. I think it's... I loved that show when I was little. It makes me wonder if I saw that episode now and was just like, yeah, he deserves to be in that tomb.
He deserved to be killed. His fire went out. You're British
His fire went out.
You're British so in my sad. Version of your childhood.
He's just stuck behind a wall for the rest of his life, and as the wall's getting built, he just has to see the other trains whizzing by like, ha-ha, and he's just goes
and then his fire burns
goes out, and he rusts
which means
away.
He dies, and he rusts away, which means he decomposes.
Yeah, if we're putting in human
disgusting.
Terms. Yeah, is the worst horror movie. Tristan, you were right. Thank you for that
Tristan,
find.
the Twitter user.
Yeah,
My word.
I
didn't ever watch that show, I'm not gonna lie.
It's okay. Not everybody did.
But I know what it is.
Yeah. It's trains.
Honestly, when
That's
you
all
said
you need
Thomas
to know.
the Tank Engine, I immediately thought of your Halloween costume that one time.
Oh, and I was the trolley.
And I didn't realize that was Mr. Rogers.
That's a trolley from Mr. Rogers. Get it straight. Where you just gave that away, did I tell you? Oh, you probably saw it on social media.
Yeah.
We gave it away to a woman who has a child. So it's actually for a good reason, because I was dressed as a trolley for Mr. Rogers when, like, really a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old should be wearing that costume. So it went to the right person. But I
feel like the right person took it.
I'm really upset.
It's child.
Okay. It's okay. It's fine. Anyways. That's all.
That's all. Thank you for joining us this week. We are going to very quickly go to sleep.
Yep. Forever.
Forever. We're never waking up again. I'm so tired. Today we recorded, this week, you're going to be getting our Ask a Weirdo episode. And it's so wonderful. And we get really deep a couple times, actually. Yeah. And not just
it starts
not
as
like
a tangent,
deep
but
and
then
dark,
it's like good.
But then it gets like really like
stuff that's going on and that other people have going on.
Yeah, so it's good. And then we just got done recording an extra long episode of about secret societies.
And it's so good and crazy.
It's fucking insane.
It's nuts.
Yeah, so listen to our show. If you didn't know, we are a podcast. I'm Ashley. This is Lauren.
Hi, guys. We have an audio podcast along with this.
33 episodes of one. And this is just our weekly video. So it's our weekly
that's
video.
that. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
So enjoy us, audio or video.
Audio or
Either
video.
way.
Either way.
We're appreciative. We do this a lot. We're like this. We have like our go-tos. Anyway, love you guys. Keep it weird.
Keep it weird.
Oh, why? I did the eyes again. I didn't mean it.